We shall have a Jewish world government. Whether or not we like it, the question is only whether world government will be achieved by consent or by conquest. James Warburg, Jewish merchant banker. Our ruling crime families are not dumb. In fact, they're getting smarter and faster. They know it's the endgame. They know it's either us or them. It took them a while to work out that it is cheaper to go from A to B, riding their horse to death and replacing it with a new one, rather than watering, feeding, and giving it rest when it gets tired. So, they replace feudalism and open slavery with capitalism. Then, they figured that it is more profitable to groom the smartest and most ambitious kids on the block and entice them with a privileged lifestyle in return for their help with outsmarting their fellow men with trickery and evil scams. So they gave us soft-spoken psychopaths and mild-mannered mass murderers at Rome corporate boardrooms. The most ruthless of those smart kids end up with multi-billion-dollar fortunes, not for them to use at their sole discretion, but to put to good use in the stealth enslavement of mankind. Those Bill Gates, George Soroses, Eric Schmidts and Mark Zuckerbergs know all too well that their fortunes will be wiped out overnight if they don't do as they're being told. That's why every copy of MS Windows and the Mac OS has a backdoor to Mossad and the NSA. That's why Bill Gates donates billions to mass sterilization programs disguised as vaccinations and invests heavily in Monsanto and chemtrails. That's why George Soros spends hundreds of millions on campaigns to help disarm the American people and overthrow governments that refuse to follow the orders of the ruling parasites. That's why Eric Schmidt has transformed his search engine into a corporate Big Brother and Mark Zuckerberg his social networking application into a spying tool that knows everything about you, your family, your friends, your likes and dislikes, and even your most private thoughts. It is no coincidence that most of these smartest kids on the block who sold their soul to the devil are Jewish. Not only does the Jewish mindset uniquely enable them to do the most horrible things to their fellow men without having a bad conscience, provided they are not Jewish, their Jewishness also provides them with a highly effective armor, the Judeo-Bolshevik narration of the Jewish Holocaust. Anybody disclosing the truth about their evil doings is immediately suspected of being motivated by evil, irrational anti-Semitism. Never mind that 97% of Jews are no Semites, but the descendants of converted Moroccan Berbers and Mongolian Turk Huns and their Andalusian, respectively Germanic rape victims. And if maliciously accusing someone of criminally insane racial hatred just for telling the truth wasn't bad enough, our ruling parasites and their Jewish minions systematically use the label of anti-Semitism to silence anyone who criticizes their wrongdoings. Usually, they hide behind some wishy-washy community standards which magically always seem to kick in when someone says something. Comments, videos and articles are deleted, writers banned, accounts suspended, online payment services cancelled, you name it. All of this is obviously in breach of freedom of expression, which in most countries is guaranteed by law. But that's how tyranny works, doesn't it? If a government cannot perform an act of tyranny because of legal restrictions, it just outsources it to a private corporation, and nobody who could do anything about it seems to care. If Congress doesn't allow stationing troops in a foreign country or is too difficult about what these troops are allowed to do, the government simply outsources the job to private security contractors, the preferred euphemism for mercenaries. If the government can't lock you up for telling the truth or extradite you to a country where they have hate laws suspending freedom of expression, they just make your boss fire you and get you blacklisted by recruitment companies and HR departments of major firms. In such climate, most people no longer dare to be seen talking to, leave alone being friendly with anyone able of critical thinking, for fear of being suspected of harboring similar thoughts. If the government has legal restrictions of how far it can go with spying on its citizens, it just gets the likes of Microsoft, Google, and Facebook to do it for them. Indeed, our ruling crime families are getting smarter and faster, but so are we. They know that this is the endgame, but so do we. We might only have started to wake up to the lethal threat corporations in cahoots with tyrannic governments are posing to us, but we are 8 billion people. They are a few hundred monsters and their low-life minions. They have decided that there is no room on this planet for all of us. It is up to us to decide who is going to survive.